we need to understand, first thing, the coronavirus has changed many people's financial circumstances very quickly, ranging from job losses to pay cuts. The overall employment scenario has become extremely gloomy. There are people who are trying to go to extra mile, uh, trying to save and stop themselves from spending on the unnecessary things. So I feel I would recommend that the most primary requirement is, that how you should protect yourself from the uncertain times and manage your finances effectively is first to estimate your entire income in hand, and then the possible expenses, right? The likely expenditure in order to ascertain the overall saving situation. After this, the next step should be to involve yourself further, look into the spending, what you're doing, and then you segregate it from the ones which are essential from the ones which are not essential. Building an emergency fund is just a step to ride the recession wave. There are some steps. It includes, savings every month by default, parking the same amount of money in an interest-bearing account, making use of the cashback credit card, making use of your discount offers. It is really good to make use of your discount offers. Also, if there are any tax benefits, any tax refunds, any stimulus checks if you have received, that should straight away go to your savings account. Savings, it is something which everybody should follow religiously. It's a principle, it should be rigorously followed. Whether you have got an increased variable pay, still you should save. You should save all the time. So for those people who have not built up their emergency funds, this is the time. Please start building your emergency funds. Preparing to save at a time when one has lost his or her job, it's a very difficult scenario. It's very challenging. Ordinarily, the expenses like rent takes 40 to 50% of your expenditure. Next, it is followed by the school fees of children, and then expenses like utilities and food. So to start with, I think during tough times, I would recommend everyone to look to shift from a high rent paying neighborhood to a one which has lower rents. That would be a major contributor to your additional savings. For school fees, there could be waivers being provided from schools and educational organizations if the need arises. As far as other non-essential needs are concerned, like your dining out, shopping, I think it should be strictly curtailed. Desperate times call for desperate measures. So I think these suggestions can be helpful. Financial health is also important. Apart from your physical health, financial health is also really important. Improving financial health during coronavirus crisis completely depends upon the availability of your savings and emergency funds, which we discussed previously. For an individual who has not started this process, the need of the hour is to start it right away. I think a fund or an account should be set up by everyone, and every month a fixed sum of money should be allocated to that particular account. In order to have a substantial corpus built over a long-term to medium-term scenario, you can use that account and you can keep some money always. You can consistently keep putting money in it. Key to riding this downturn is consistency on both sides, savings and expenses. You have to be consistently saving money, and you have to consistently plan your expenses. Do not spend on unnecessary things. So that kind of consistency we need. We need to consistently save, and at the same time, we need to consistently reduce our expenses also. I feel there are these 7 mistakes which you should really avoid. One should not rely too much on the credit card for their daily expenses. Also, I think living beyond the means of borrowing excess, that is not right. Taking off more debts to pay off the existing liabilities. It is not the wise way to do. I feel one should always pay off their existing loans. It is no way to take more loan to pay their existing loans and then again have a debt on your head. So that is not recommended. Uh, Again, one should properly plan and budget their expenses. Not budgeting and simply spending without any plan, it is really harmful for your financial health. Not having an emergency fund is another very common mistake one should not do. Uh, One should always have an emergency fund, and if you don't have it, start building up right now. Um, you should always have a proper health insurance. This is going to save a lot of money, because God forbid tomorrow if you get sick, you should have a proper health cover, so that the expenses of the diagnosis, the expenses of that particular cover can be compensated to you. And then last, do not submit under peer pressure and and you try to live a luxurious lifestyle, because this is a very common mistake which people do, submitting under peer pressure and spending too much on having a luxurious lifestyle. uh, Use the money which you have a lifestyle which you can afford. Please don't go beyond that.